Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick and I'm here with Sheriff Matthew Wade, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Hello, Sheriff.
It's always good to be on the show, John.
It's always good to have you here. And, you know, your folks were busy last week. Let's take a look at the count just right up here.
7 arrests. Y'all have never let us down. I know I say that every week, but I'm truly thankful that people help us out because we can't do it on our own. Brings our count up to 4,849 people arrested, all because somebody was willing to help us out and make their community safer. Thank you for that.
Law enforcement is definitely a partnership with the community.
Absolutely.
Community policing, community sheriffing. It is the way to keep citizens in the county safe and happy.
Absolutely.
So what else is going on down there at the Sheriff's Office?
Well, you know, we've been making sure that we offer vaccines to our inmates.
Yeah.
You know, this last round of COVID is you know, it's been bad. It's not necessarily in the jail, but just for citizens. You know, I can probably count up to about 10 or so people that I know that have died from COVID. And I just implore everyone, please, if you haven't gotten the vaccine, please consider getting the vaccine. This isn't about politics or Republican or Democrat, conservative, liberal. I don't care about any of that. I just care about you. I care about your family members. Please consider getting the vaccine because it will save your life. The people in the hospital are about 90% unvaccinated people. The vaccine doesn't guarantee anything, but it drastically helps your chances from dying or being hospitalized from it. So please, please consider getting the vaccine. It's free. There's no reason not to.
Words of wisdom from the Sheriff, always looking out for the community. Thank you, Sheriff. We'll be back after this break and the first half of our lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Scammers are now taking advantage of people's increased economic anxiety. One of the latest ploys is to phone unsuspecting victims and pose as representatives of utility companies. A scammer may identify themselves as your local power company. They may be able to identify your account number and even your name and address, but that does not mean they are legitimate. They may claim you are past due and your services are about to be shut off. Do not let the implied seriousness of this call frighten you into making a quick decision to pay. Instead, hang up the phone, then contact your local utility company directly using the phone number listed on your bill or on their website. Speak with a representative to check on your account. Never give your banking information over the phone unless you have placed the call yourself to a phone number that you know is correct. Utility companies do not demand your banking information by email or phone. They will not force you to pay over the phone as your only option. Any reputable company will never request payment by gift card, reloadable cash card, wiring money, or cryptocurrency. Some of the requested cards could be MoneyPack, Vanilla, Google, eBay, Amazon, or even an iTunes card. But you should know that there are still many more variety of cards the scammer could suggest that you use. If they ask for payment in any form of these cards, it is a scam. For more information, you can go to ftc.gov or call me, Nancy Hilton, at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office at 256-236-6600.
Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Jeremiah Wilkins. Mr. Wilkins, last known to be living in Montford. He's wanted for probation violation on possession of a controlled substance. And this is Rachel Crawford. Miss Crawford, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted on a probation violation for assault second. And take a look at Justin Brewster. Mr. Brewster, last known to be living in Gadsden. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana second. And this is Victoria Nelson. Miss Nelson, last known to be living in Montford. She's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And we'd like you to meet Dolores Russell. Miss Russell, last known to be living in Talladega. She's wanted for failure to pay child support. And meet Jennifer Galbraith. Miss Galbraith, last known to be living in Glencoe. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance. And this is Samantha Adams. Miss Adams, last known to be living in Gadsden. She's wanted for failure to appear on hindering prosecution and possession of drug paraphernalia. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in the lineup that you know, or at least know where they are. And if you do, give the sheriff's office a call. They'd be happy to pick them up and let them come stay at the jail. We are back here with Tawanda Hunter, court advocate for Second Chance here in Anniston. Tawanda, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm really glad you're on the show today. Now,
Thank you.
we've got Second Chance is domestic violence, women's shelter.
Women's, men's.
Yep.
You know,
Everybody
anyone who's
needs a
been
second chance.
Everybody needs a second chance. So what's going on at Second Chance?
What's going on with Second Chances? October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we have a lot of activities planned, starting with our cookout on this Friday from 11:30 to 1:30 at our admin office. Everyone's welcome. It's free. We have our staff will be out delivering law enforcement survival kits to the local police departments for helping us with victims.
Ooh, what's in the survival kit?
What's in the survival kit? It is
Sheriff likes cookouts too.
yes.
You can tell.
Yep.
In the survivor kit, they're lifesavers to remind you of the many times you've been won, Smarties to give you wisdom for those split-second decisions, Starburst for the burst of energy you need, a Hershey's Kiss to show our love for you, Gum to help everyone stick together, Tootsie Rolls to help you roll with the punches, Peppermint to help you keep your cool, Dum Dum Suckers because you deal with a lot of them.
That's my favorite.
Money Buttermint because you're doing it for the high salary. Laffy Taffy to remind you that laughter is always a great stress reliever.
That's awesome. Now the cookout's this
The
Friday?
cookout is this Friday from 11:30 to 1:30 at our admin office at 613 Wilmer Avenue.
613
It
Wilmer.
is free. There'll be hot dogs, chips, drinks, sweet treats, and also this Saturday we're going to be at the Oxford Fest. We also have supply drives going on throughout the community where our women in the shelter are always in need of personal hygiene items, cleaning supplies when they move out on their own. We also have our 4th annual Pets Against Domestic Violence photo shoot, and that will be held on October the 15th from 10 to 2 at our admin office. Bring your pets. It's a luau theme. It is free. And Thursday, October 21st, is Purple Day. So we're asking everyone to wear purple on that day and then tag us on social media to bring more awareness to domestic violence. And
So purple like that ribbon
purple
you've
like
got
this
there?
ribbon, yes.
Have you got ribbons that can be picked up or just
We have ribbons. They're going to be distributed to the police officers.
Okay.
But we should have some available at the events at our office.
ribbons and candy, Sheriff?
It doesn't get any better, does it?
Nope. I like candy.
Me too. And we have our 13th annual Domestic Violence Awareness Walk will be on October the 26th. It begins at Centennial Park at 17th and Quintar. We just walk down a couple of blocks, come back up just with signs to bring awareness to domestic violence. I mean, I'm holding my sign for my mom, my sister, or whoever.
You know, that walk used to go all the way up Highway 21, didn't it?
It did.
We used to escort that.
Before my time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a long walk. I think they went all the way to Jacksonville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was very good. Very good.
And if you know anyone who is suffering from domestic violence, have them reach out to our toll-free crisis line, which is 1-800-650-6522. You can look up Second Chance on Facebook and Twitter.
So domestic violence is, of course, in the news here recently with
Yes.
Gabby Petito and all of that. So many of us probably have friends and family that are stuck in a situation that they shouldn't be. And Sheriff, you see a lot of that, I'm afraid.
We do, and that's one of our biggest calls. And domestic violence is not as clear cut as, say, burglary. Somebody burglarizes your home, you're upset about it, you want them prosecuted. It's the emotions is definitely I want something done. When it comes to domestic relationships, it's never clear cut. Hardly. It's very complicated, as they say on your status on social media. It's complicated. Domestic violence is definitely complicated, and having sympathy and empathy for these victims is something that we all need to remind. It's just telling somebody you should just do this or you should just do that. It's never just that simple for them. So
It takes a victim 7 times on average to leave before she finally leaves a domestic violence situation. And one of the most dangerous moments for a victim is when she's trying to leave. You know, so if you have friends or family who are going through abuse, instead of telling them what they should do, just be supportive, you know, and let them leave on their own, you know, because we don't want anyone killed or hurt, because it's just, you know, it's more than just get out, get out, get out, get out. We don't know what's going on inside that home, and we don't want anyone unnecessarily harmed. And we've been told that police officers' domestic violence calls are some of the worst calls, the most dangerous calls that you guys kind of face.
They are, and we're going to talk more about that. We got to take a break and go to the second half of our lineup, but stay with us here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Trevin Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher, last known to be living in Pelham. He's wanted for failure to appear on promoting prison contraband. And this is Raven Strickland. Miss Strickland, last known to be living in Talladega. She's wanted for failure to appear on receiving stolen property first. And have a look at Jacob Brown. Mr. Brown, last known to be living in Gadsden. He's wanted on failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance. And we'd like you to look at Damian Wade. Mr. Wade, last known to be living in Birmingham. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession with intent to distribute, possession of marijuana second, and a certain person forbidden to possess a pistol. This is Stephen Hollis. Mr. Hollis, last known to be living in Mumford, wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And take a look at Justin Fry. Mr. Fry, last known to be living in Sheffield, Alabama, wanted for probation violation on a possession of a controlled substance. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these cases, and we hope you do, please give the Sheriff's Office a call, 256-236-6600. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup where you know where they are or where they might be living or hiding out. And if you do, give the Sheriff's Office a call. We're here with Tawanda Hunter, court advocate for Second Chance here in Anniston. We're talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month for October and all those really cool events. But before we went to the break, we were talking about how dangerous domestic violence is, not only for the victims, but for law enforcement. And Sheriff, the domestic violence laws have kind of changed over the course of the years.
They have. You know, a long time ago, it was there was really no guidance. Somebody could, law enforcement could show up, and the complaint was that they'd show up and somebody was obviously victimized, and an arrest wouldn't happen. So they changed the law to shall, which meant when the law says shall, it doesn't mean that you get a choice. So law enforcement had to arrest if a primary aggressor could be determined and there was evidence that domestic violence had occurred. So a lot of people were arrested for domestic violence, and then it kind of swung to the other side of the pendulum, where people felt like a lot of people were being arrested for domestic violence that maybe didn't need to be. So now they've changed the law once again to may instead of shall. You may arrest somebody if there's probable cause that a crime occurred and you can determine a primary aggressor. So our laws evolve, but the whole goal of it is to make sure that we protect and save lives. And she says it's dangerous for us because a lot of times we go, they want the situation to stop, but then somebody has to go to jail, then that goes one step further than what they wanted. So now they're upset with us. You know, it's difficult to prosecute domestic violence cases because a lot of times between the arrest and the court date, they've gotten back together and the cycle is reset for that time, and so they don't want to testify. So without the testimony of the victim, a lot of times those cases go unprosecuted. But once again, it's easy for law enforcement to become jaded over that or cynical over that. But once again, these relationships are complicated, and a lot of times these people are in love, or they think they're in love. There's kids involved, there's material property, the house, the car, the dogs, and you're like, I'm going to lose everything. And believe it or not, that's one of the biggest things people don't want to leave is their stuff.
Right.
And you can say that that would be an easy decision for you, but it's easy to say when you're not in that situation. So empathy goes a long way, and education goes a long way. Like she said, not to tell somebody just to leave, but give them resources and education, places they can go if they choose to make a step or want more information, how they could get out of it, like Second Chance or these other things that allow people to make decisions on their own. While being supportive is one thing, overbearing is another. So.
And unfortunately, it's a pretty prevalent problem for both men and women, stuck in relationships that are codependent or dangerous, scary to get out of. And Second Chance does a really good job of not only having a shelter available, but you do a lot of outreach and education.
Yes.
So other than all these wonderful events that you've got going on that are obviously outreach and education, what other ways can people learn about domestic violence and the services at Second Chance?
They can have our outreach coordinator come to them and do a presentation about what we offer. We have a lot of information at the office. They can come there and talk to any one of the staff members, call. We have 2 shelters. One is handicap accessible. We have tongue-tied. We have a lot of pamphlets also that we can give out for people, also. And there's a lot of information on our Facebook page and our website page also.
Sheriff, you have the women housed at the what used to be the Anniston City Jail, right? Is that something that you might get maybe one of their folks to come down and talk to the women about?
They would be welcome to do that. And
I'll pass it along.
And it's you never know when you reach that one. Somebody's watching this television show and says, "Well, I didn't know Second Chance existed," or they got a Facebook page. Let me go look this up. But domestic violence is real, and as we see it in the latest case of Gabby and that kind of thing that's happening, we wish that kind of stuff didn't happen, but all we can do is deal with it when it does and educate people.
Education and intervention, law enforcement's there to help, only as good as the law and the willingness of the victim to protect themselves as well. So tell us before we end now, how do people get in touch with Second Chance?
Second Chance local shelter to us, the number is 256-236-7233. That's our local shelter. You can also call our toll-free crisis line. That number is 1-800-650-6522.
And the webpage?
The webpage is secondchanceinc.org.
Secondchanceinc.org. Give them a call. Lots of stuff going on this month in October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Thank you for being on the show with us, Tawanda, and we're going to be right back with our Crime Stoppers portion of the show and our Crazy Criminals. So stay with us here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put your deer stalkers on and help our investigators with the following cases. First up, on September 12th, an unknown person was seen stealing car batteries at a business located on Highway 431 in Alexandria. And on September 22nd, between 6:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., somebody broke into a residence located on Burgess Drive in Anniston. And between 7:15 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. on September 23rd, this home located on Rabbit Town Road in Piedmont was burglarized. A large quantity of jewelry, collection of Canadian money, black 2-bag and numerous tools, a small safe with personal papers, and 2 White Plains high school rings were stolen from there. And between September 3rd and September 10th, a burglary occurred on Highway 21 in Piedmont. Numerous power tools, a Ruger 45 and a Ruger 380 were also stolen from that residence. And sometime between September 15th and September 25, an unknown person burglarized this residence on Roy Webb Cutoff Road in Piedmont. A breaker box and air conditioning unit were stolen from that location. And on the evening of September 26th, an unknown person attempted to break into a home on Nunnally Lake Road in Ohatchee. The gas tank on a car was also tampered with. And that's it for your Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give the Sheriff's Office a call, 256-236-6600.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
It's Crazy Criminal time.
Well, all right, let's go ahead and go to the picture because it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
So there's a picture. That's William Hodge right there with the long hair with no shirt. If you see the highlighted section, can you tell what that is?
I can't tell what that is.
That is an alligator.
Oh, I can see that as an alligator.
So William Hodge is accused of going into a mini golf business.
Is that illegal?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but he stole an alligator that was in the pond in the mini golf business. That's the alligator that he stole. And what gets even more interesting is that he was beating and stomping it and then attempted to throw it on the roof of a liquor store.
Huh.
So William Hodge was arrested by Daytona Beach police about 3 a.m. And he was charged with animal cruelty, possession and injury of an alligator, unarmed burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, and small theft and criminal mischief. And here's they asked him, so why are you doing this to this poor alligator? They said he was teaching it a lesson. So I'm not sure what lesson he was trying to teach the alligator, but here's the other thing. That's pretty gutsy. I mean, that's not that small of an alligator. It doesn't look like. Anyway, I mean, it's a couple of feet long. You'd think that alligator would get him a bite of Mr. Hodge, but he didn't. And Mr. Hodge was trying to teach it a lesson, and we could all hope that the alligator taught him a lesson, but it didn't.
So, yeah, it didn't. Apparently, maybe he'll get out of jail and get a re-education from that alligator's bigger, better educated alligators.
Maybe so.
Interesting. Well, reptile theft and abuse is not a fun thing.
Billy, leave the alligators alone.
I guess Florida has special laws for alligators. Do we have an alligator law in Alabama?
I think they're protected, but I don't think we have injury of an alligator. So.
Well, all right. Well, Sheriff, it's been great to have you on the show again. And folks, we appreciate you watching. We hope to see you again next week, but not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.